each paper. 10 minutes for presentation and 5 minutes for question and answer, right? So try to limit your presentation within 10 minutes so that you could have 4 to 5 minutes for question and answer. Sorry? And we will inform someone.
Who is giving the time? A very good afternoon to everyone. We welcome you to the first technical session of 11 GBE International Conference. I, Januarv, along with Januarv, will be anchoring this session. The session will be chaired by Professor Rajesh Singh, MDI Gurgaon, and Professor Supriti Mishra, IMI Bhubaneswar. Dr. Rajesh Singh is Professor. Dr. Rajesh Singh is Professor of Operation Management and Chairperson at Management Development Institute, Gurgaon. With prior academic experience at the Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, Delhi, and Delhi Technological University, his research focused on supply chain and logistic management industry. His research focused on supply chain and logistic management, Industry 4.0, and digital transformation and carbon neutrality. He has around 18,000 Google Scholar citation and an H index of 74 and has been consistently ranked among the world's top 2% researcher by Stanford University from 2020 to 2023. He currently serves as an associate editor of IEEE Transaction on the Engineering and Management, International Journal of Global Business and Competitiveness, and Operational Management Research, and has held key editorial roles with several leading journals. A recipient of B.K. Birla Distinguished Research Scholar Award and Multi-Excellent Research Award at MDI. He has published extensively in top-tier journals such as International Journal of Operation and Production Management, Technological Forecasting, and Social Change, Journals of Peer Production, and Journal of Business Research. Up next, we have Professor Supriti Mishra, who is a full-time professor and a Dean Academics at IMI Bhubaneswar. She joined as a founding faculty member in 2011 and has played a key role in institutions' growth and transformation. Her expertise spans across corporate strategy, ESG, diversity and inclusion, gender mainstreaming, and corporate governance. She has published extensively in leading peer-reviewed journals indexed in FT50, Scopus, and Web of Science, and has authored management cases published by IB Publishing and Asia Case Research Journal of NUS, Singapore. She served on the board of companies and academic institutes, including as an independent director at Odisha Agro Industry Corporations, and hold advisory and editorial roles across academia and industry. Actively engaged as a consultant and trainer, she has conducted executive programs and MDPs for over 500 mid and senior level executives, a Fulbright Fellow and visiting scholar at Stern School of Business, NYU. She held a postdoctorate from NYU, a PhD from IIT Kharagpur, and has received several awards and recognition for excellence in research and case writing. As part of this technical session, we will also be identify the best paper and presentation based on the quality of research, clarity of analysis, originality of idea, and effectiveness of presentation. This recognition is intended to appreciate scholarly rigor and meaningful contribution to the theme of the session. Delegates will be allotted a total of 15 minutes for their presentation. And initial timing will be allotted for 8 minutes mark, followed by a final call at 10-minute marks, and the remaining 5 minutes will be shared for a Q&A session. So at first I would like to call Professor Strategizing and Jasmine Bhuyan from Sri University to present on the topic an empirical study on the role of sustainability tourism in enhancing rural development in India. Ma'am, please go.
Okay, very good morning to all of you, session chairs and all fellow delegates and my fellow research scholars, everyone. We, on behalf of Singh University, I am Dr. Jasmine Bhubaneswar, Assistant Professor, and with me, my co-author, Dr. Strategizing and Manpreeti ma'am, we are also presenting today for this conference. And our topic of today's presentation is, can I have the slides ready? This one, PPT, IMI Januarv. Yes, sir. Fine, thank you. So, as you are approaching today here for international conference, 11th international conference on global business environment, and our topic for today's conference is an empirical study on the role of sustainable tourism in enhancing rural development in India. So there are many pillars for the environment. If you see about Indian context, as we discussed, as we know, we have around 65.6% of people living in rural India. So when we are discussing about sustainability and growth parameter, then we can't look beyond this rural development. There are many models available that is focusing on rural people, but nowadays the leisure activity or traveling is not only for an activity that now become an economic pillar of the country. So we have major like potential to grow. For looking into that kind of picture, our study focus on seeking into travel could be that in aligning with sustainability, and that is the sustainable tourism. That is one concept coming over here. So that we are now doing a study on how this sustainable tourism will help for rural development in India context. So this formal introduction, as I said, we are having vast majority in the rural area. So generally we are seeing as a tourism for only heritage point or some point that need to having some cinematic experience. But looking beyond that, there can be more potential rural areas where local communities, their economies, their infrastructure, their well-being can be achieved by tourism activity. That is the theme of the paper. There are certain review of literatures we have done. So some I have cited over here. So gist of this all review literature that there is so much of scope to look into the things. What are the factors contributing to rural development and how tourism can help to build that thing. Coming to this, by after reviewing all the literature, we found some profound research gap, majorly these three. First one, when we study the literatures, there are specific like area-specific or fragmented studies were present, but not a holistic study of whole India that covers many geographical region or different sites of tourism that is focusing on rural development. So that's why our study focused on that part. Second one, having some empirical evidence how the factors like all the models, sustainable tourism practice, for example, eco-friendly infrastructure, waste management, skill development, conservation and community participation. These factors overall impact on rural development by looking into sustainable tourism practices were little or very few. That is also one of the gap. And thirdly, role of though there are many factors, they are contributing for rural development and sustainable tourism. But the thing is that government support, subsidy, incentives, or some kind of policies role is very, very crucial because rural places are little bit deprived of urban advantages. So that's why what is the role of government support as a moderator that will give a strength or direction to the rural development. That also we are analyzing. There are some key features and why specifically when you see sustainable tourism practices, majorly, though many states following this, but we, as per our study, I found this, we have taken these 5 states for having very aggressive sustainable tourism practice. So we have taken these things into practice. Then objective of our study, okay, we have 3 objectives. One is to identify key sustainable tourism practices that's influencing rural development in India. Second one, to examine the impact of sustainable tourism practices on rural development outcomes in selected rural tourism destinations. So destination select some places. Okay. Third one, examining moderating role of government support. And these are conceptual framework that says these are the factors: eco-friendly infrastructure, waste management techniques, skill development and training, conservation of natural resources, community participation. What is their role in rural development and what is the role of government support in it? So overall, in a nutshell, at my part, the focus is all about knowing how this tourism practices can be one of the major indicator of rural development in India. Then further part will be covered by my co-author Sarita ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine ma'am, for a good introduction. So, as we have certain independent variables and dependent variables, and we form certain hypotheses. These are the hypotheses like eco-friendly infrastructure and significant. This is need to to make the statements because the time is very short. So these are we form 10 hypotheses, 5 of the hypotheses on the independent, the impact of independent variable on the one of the dependent variable, and the 5 hypotheses to study the moderating impact of the government support on the relationship between each independent variable on the dependent variable. So there is as we form the hypothesis and we have certain variables, so the research design we choose exploratory as we have to prove certain statistical significance about the hypothesis. Then, as I love traveling, so we select these 5 states directly. I just collected the data. I distributed 700 questionnaire, but after data cleaning, we have 330 sample size. The sample size includes the population, like the stakeholders who are directly involved with the rural tourism, the owners of the homestays and the owner of the travel organizations, and some local self-government representatives and officials associated with the tourism development programs. And the sampling is purposive sampling. Then these are certain sources that help to form the questionnaire. We have 21 questionnaire as per the 7 variables we identified as per the literature review. Then this is the descriptive statistical study. Before the descriptive statistics study, we studied the reliability, adequacy, and significance test, Cronbach alpha test, and KMO and Balletto test of sphericity, which is supporting the data for the further analysis. Then we have gone for the descriptive statistics as 159 sample that they came in between the 30 to 39 years age. Then 170 of the population that came in between 20 to 29 is one of the major one is 150 of the population they like for the beach, and 160 population from the 330 they like for the mountains, and then one is left, but that is segregating the rural preference and the urban preference. That left most of the people they prefer nowadays for rural site. As per we are talking about the sustainability, so people are also nowadays they want to go far from the urban side. They like the nature. They like the secluded homestays. They like the beach. They like the that waterfall. They like the jungle, forest. So that are the mostly the preference towards the rural side. These are the study from the exploratory factor analysis. From the cumulative variance percentage, we find out there are 7 variables as we discussed earlier. This is the moderating impact and the ANOVA study from the spaces analysis. We use the spaces tool for the analysis. From this study, we can identify from the 5 of the independent variables, there are 4 of the independent variables that is supporting that there is certain impact on the rural development, like eco-friendly infrastructure, waste management, skill development, which is called capacity building. Community participation is not there. Conservation of resources, that is more impact. That is having more impact on the rural development. And from the moderating impact of the government support, we can see only there are 2 type of effect on the relationship between eco-friendly infrastructure on the rural development and waste management on the rural development. These 2 are only moderated by the government support. That means we have to make more awareness about the conservation of nature, skill development, and community participation. And maybe government is not spreading that much awareness in the states. So this is limitation of the study. Maybe there are biasness during the answering the questions which we distributed, and external factors such as political, economic, climate variations that is not considerable maybe. Then future scope, may we take another 2-3 mediating variables there, and we form a good structure which will be undergone for structural equation modeling, or we can use any other tool to find out some more results in the future. There are certain implications of the study, like this study encourage adoption of eco-friendly infrastructure, waste management, and skill development in rural tourism. Manager, like it will help for the manager to make certain policies which will enhance to bring up the rural tourism into the site. And the social implication, it will help to enhance the community participation. Like in Odisha, we have eco-tourism, eco-retreat. Maybe certain people, they are not aware about those things and not developed also. Maybe some of you will travel this in this winter. You can see the infrastructure is not so developed in certain nature camps. So that maybe government should be aware about that and give certain proper fund and budget towards the development. On the conclusion, this study will help to spread awareness from the government side, and also it will help to the managers who are the travelers who are associated with the rural tourism to give an effort towards the rural tourism in India. That's all. Thank you so much.
Any question from audience? No one wants to ask any question? Yes.
See, when I was going looking into your descriptive statistics, majority of the respondents were in a higher bracket. That means 2 lakhs or more, right? If you look into the income, if you look into the expenditure, do you think the survey was biased?
Yeah, I think that's the limitation of the study. I already told. Maybe there is biasness.
Did you think of stratifying the survey?
Yeah, that we plan for include in our future scope, because this is a population is a mixed population we have taken. Like I have taken during my traveling. So I want to do another research so that will the samples that sample should be segregated into different sites, like that population that should be from the homestays, that population who are handling the travel agencies, or one study who are traveling only the rural areas. That we can include in stratified sampling like that.
So I'm thinking of mostly, see, we were doing this tourism.
Yeah.
You can segregate according to the income class.
Yeah. We can do that.
Then you stratify and pick the sample from each income class.
Yeah.
Then you can divide into sectors
Yes.
within the income class.
Yes.
Then we can talk more on that, right?
Yes.
Then another thing, which one? Can you please go forward?
So it's like.
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
See, you got conservation of resources significant. But conservation of resources with government support is not significant.
Statistically, that is not showing.
I understand.
Yeah.
What can you conclude?
We can conclude statistically it is proved that conservation of resources can be one criteria to develop a rural tourism in India, but government support is not moderating the relationship between the conservation of resources on the rural development. Maybe a government should make more effort towards the awareness of the conservation of resources.
How do you support your conclusion? That means in the newspaper we see government is supporting sustainability. But conservation is being significant the moment you get the cross factor with the government support.
Yeah.
it is not showing significant. I'm confused. That's
So
why I'm asking.
practically, so one of my experience time will allow me in Simlipal area, I think that area is closed about 12 months.
Oh, you are doing only on Odisha.
No. That is one of the states, one of the selected state here. So
What
I'm
is the
giving
state?
one example.
What is the state?
Odisha.
Odisha.
Another 4 states we have Kerala, Sikkim, Rajasthan, and Uttarakhand, which I visit frequently. So that's why we have taken that data here.
So it is pooled data.
Yeah, that's a pool data.
Did you try to do unpooled data?
No, I'll do that, sir. I'll do. Thanks for the suggestions and all.
Can you go to the conceptual model? The model.
Yeah, any other question, please?
I see we are discussing about the rural development. Na? Your outcome variable is rural development. So rural development is a very vast term. So what exactly rural development you are discussing?
Exactly, sir. Maybe
See,
I want to mention.
Development means economic development, infrastructure development. Getting my point?
Yes.
So what is that you have to
specify, clarify.
be very clear, because when you will be publishing, they will be asking this question.
Yeah.
What is that? Second thing is that when you are looking, when you have accepted these 5 independent variables, on what basis only these 5?
Sir, as per the literature review.
As per literature review, that's
yes.
point. Then another question is that the respondents are you or those who are visiting. Yes or no?
Yes.
So they are visiting for a particular purpose, that to see, enjoy, and maybe to. But they are not in a mode to, or they are not in a position to respond the local rural development, or the development has happened in that area.
Yes.
Rather, you should ask those people, those who are in the tourism sector. They are actually in that sector, means travel to tourism agents, or maybe the sellers.
Already included. Some of the agencies.
That's why
But yes, I can clarify the dependent variable, like rural development. What the component I should mention that.
And government support is not actually going to help, because government support, you have taken government support. The second question will come, why no other moderators?
Because in rural development aspect, the government role is very, very important, because in rural area, community participation, local community involvement, their infrastructure building, majorly depending on government support, their subsidy, their policies, plans. They're very, very, very easy to.
The first one, I think the literature are also supporting that the first thing government should support all the schemes, which is introduced by the policies and schemes, which is introduced by government. There is no awareness. That's why in our university we introduced one subject right now, rural immersion program for MBA, so that they can go through the root level, they can find out the cause.
And interesting, we found various conclusions for that, because students have told us various policies, awareness is very, very minimal in rural areas. Similarly,
not implemented.
Tourism also same thing. There are many projects are there, many plans are there, but rural development not happening. Employee generation is one of the SDG 8, that is decent workplace. So they are very SDGs related to social tourism and rural tourism. So that part may be look into this paper will focusing on that part. How tourism can bring some kind of development to rural areas.
Just one question based on what he asked. Can I read this as rural development focusing on sustainable tourism?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Or
That will be
should
very
I read
good,
it as,
nomenclature?
or should I read it as overall rural development?
So sustainable one, the better one.
Okay.
First one is
That will change the dependent variable.
How did you collected the dependent variable?
So there are three questions we asked as per the Likert scale, 7-point Likert scale, and
Did
they
you
have to
have-
rate it.
Did you have any variable like growth factor in rural development or growth factor in sustainable tourism?
So this will be from the secondary data you are asking.
No. See, focus is development, right?
Yeah.
How do I track the development? Do I look into
income generation,
income generation or rural revenue
revenue.
per year or growth
No, we can
in
have
rural
a
area.
longitudinal study about that.
Did you include that or no?
No, we have not included yet, but we will include it. Yes.
Considering the time,
Sir.
we need to limit to questions. But anyway, I personally feel that your selection of independent variables and dependent variables is not very light. As you say, skill development training and rural development, it may be one of the indicators for the rural development.
Yeah.
Whereas you are taking it as an independent variable. And you are talking about sustainable tourism and rural development. So if you have the construct related with the sustainable tourism and then try to understand that how sustainable tourism is helping for the rural development. So your model combination need to modify, right?
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for the suggestion.
I have, yeah. So, of course, rural development is a very good question, and but technically, why did you go for a EFA and then a T-test?
Ma'am, actually, we collected the data.
You have already defined what are your factors underlying each of the independent variables. Then why did you go for a EFA? EFA would be exploratory factor analysis, right? You are not exploring anything. You have already decided the items under each of your independent variables.
No, from the literature review, we find out those variables, but for the validity check.
So the validity check you will not do in the EFA now. Then you will have to do a CFA. If you have an established instrument, then you have to do a CFA.
Model.
So that is one. And second thing that you are saying these are your independent and dependent variables.
Yes.
So why did you then conduct a T-test and not a regression?
There is already the p-value, so that from the.
It's, just
That's
a p-value is not sufficient. No?
That's why we have taken.
But a p-value is everywhere. Any statistical analysis you conduct, there will be a p-value. So just because a particular analysis is giving you a p-value, that does not mean that actually takes the hypothesized relationship that you are trying to establish between variables. Here you are having yourself saying that it is an independent and dependent variable. Then why did you go for a t-test? Why did you go for regression? And how by cross-tab you are going to establish a moderating relationship between the variables? There is a whole method for moderation. How do you test moderation and mediation? Right?
Yes.
So, how on the basis of a cross-tab you can just decide whether there is a moderating relationship existing or not?
Yeah.
And if you just show me the items for rural development. The question. Yeah. So here you have actually included the income as one factor, infrastructure as another factor, then employment as another factor.
Yeah.
Right? But when the question is being asked to you, you are getting confused, right? Whether you should be just looking at income or but you have added all these three factors. But again, when you are using a word like development, right? You ask any economic student, they will confuse you when you talk about development because there are so many things that comes under development.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to test about whether there is a income generation or more employment opportunity generation, then it will not again come under rural development. Because development is a complex factor. Development cannot be just have three questions and you measure development. That's a very
Is there are many things.
Yeah, right. I think so.
We'll read you back in the nomenclature. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Up next, I would like to call Mr. Raj, ICFAI University, will be presenting on the topic, the legal frameworks and challenges in ESG disclosures in India, a critical analysis for sustainable corporate governance. So please.
If you want, you can use further writers.
Good afternoon to all. My name is Prithviraj, currently the PhD scholar of IMI University and assistant professor at Birla University. And my department is from the law. Currently, I will be presenting the paper on the legal framework and challenges in ESG disclosures. Really, let me start with a simple discussions. Is making profit the only responsibility? Is the only responsibility of the company now? Today, the answer is no. ESG stands for the environmental, social, and governance. It simply means how a company treats the environment, people, and how honestly it has been managed. In the environment sector, does the company pollute? Does it save water and energy? In social perspective, does it treat employees fairly? Is it safe for workers? Does it respect human rights? In respect of governance, is the company run ethically? Is the board honest and transparent? Earlier, the companies were judged mainly on by profits, but many disasters shows that ignoring environment or ethics can destroy the long-term value. Investors now want to know: is this company safe for the future? Will it face environmental or legal problems? Is it managed responsibly? ESG disclosures help to answer these questions. In India, ESG is very important because we are growing fast, but not facing problems like pollutions. We are growing fast, but also facing the problems like pollution, inequality, and climate change. ESG reporting helps balance between the business growth with the responsibility. So ESG is about doing the business in the right way and not just making a money. Now, the problems start here. The first question comes: is this, as thus the ESG is very much important here, then who regulates ESG in India? There is no single ESG laws in India till now, but there are 3 regulators involved in this. Currently, we don't have any kind of laws in this ESG, but there are departments who are asking for their ESG disclosures in their various audit reports. The first one is the Securities and Exchange Board of India. Second is Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Third one is Reserve Bank of India. SEBI looks after the listed companies and investors. It made ESG reporting mandatory for big companies only. Second, in the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, MCA controls the company law. The Companies Act says directors must act responsibly and protect society and not just the state shareholders. Third, in Reserve Bank of India, RBI focuses on banks and financial stability. It warns the climate change can threaten the financial risk. Together, SBI handles the disclosure, MCA handles the governance, RBI handles the financial risk. So ESG in India is spread across the regulators and not a single law. Coming to the business responsibility and sustainability report, the main ESG reporting tool is in India is called a BRSR. Earlier, companies filed a single voluntary report called BRR, But from 2022 to 23, SEBI made BRSR mandatory for the top 1000 listed companies. BRSR asks companies to answer questions on 9 basic principles such as ethics and honesty, environmental pollution, employee welfare, human rights, customer responsibility, good governance. And companies must give the numbers and not just the stories now. For example, how much pollution they have done, for which the polluter pays principle will be applied, and for that thing, the companies who pollute more, they will be taxed more. How much water is being used, number of women employees are there, how many complaints has been received and they have been resolved. However, BRSR is same for all industries. A software company and a steel factory would fill up the same form in the same by disclosing the BRSR. Still, BRSR is the big step because it made the ESG mandatory and not optional. What are the practical challenges in ESG disclosures? First problem is lack of clear standards. The major issues have been identified as lack of sector-specific ESG metrics, inconsistent and estimated data, high compliance burden, absence of mandatory third-party assurance, risk of greenwashing, and because of these issues, many companies treat ESG as a paperwork, not just the responsibility. And what did the data show here? To understand the ESG disclosures, here I have taken the top 50 big companies. Some positive signs are seen. Most companies disclose the pollution data. Most reported employee welfare details. But the serious problems are also been found. Only half of the companies gave that consistent data after every year. Only 10% got their ESG data verified by the outsiders or the outside external audit. Even more worrying is that very few companies talked about the future climate risk. Most avoided the detailed climate planning also. This shows the ESG reporting exists, but quality and honest are weak because there is no law under which they can be governed. Now coming to the global comparisons, globally ESG reporting allows strong frameworks. The Global Reporting Initiative, Sustainability Accounting Standards Board, Task Force on Climate Related Financial Disclosures focuses on the climate risk. India's BRSR is good, but it lacks the industry-specific rules. It has weak climate risk reporting. It has no compulsory ESG audit. From the governance angle, ESG is part of board responsibility. Directors are expected to think about the environment, employees and ethics and not just the profits. Good ESG improves the trust and investment. Poor ESG damages the reputations. Now coming to the recommendations and conclusion, what should we do now? India should clearly define what the ESG law means according to the law or according to the drafted policy. Second, different industries should have the different ESG rules. Third, ESG data should be checked by the independent experts, just like the financial audits or external audits. Fourth, the director should be clearly responsible for the wrong ESG statements. Finally, India should slowly align with global ESG standards to attract the foreign investments. Coming to the conclusion, India has started a very well making the ESG compulsory, but ESG must be done in the real responsibility, not just a paperwork. The strong ESG reporting will help India grow economically without harming the environment and or the society. So for this, a particular act, a particular law should be passed by the parliament under which all the sectors, the RBI and SEBI should act on it. Thank you.
Yes, question from audience, please.
My question is, you have mentioned in your recommendation and you also mentioned that the audits are done for big companies only. But India right now is in the phase of expansion when it comes to MSMEs. So what can be done in regulatory ways so that their growth is not hindered, but they also meet the ESG demands?
Why it has been done is that currently there is no law. And if the law will be enacted by the parliament, it will apply to the big companies, it will apply to the MSME, it will apply to the LLP and every corporate one. As per the lack, as there is a lack of law, there are three regulators we have seen: the MCA, the RBI, and the SEBI. These regulators, if they will be asked to regulate the MSME also, they will be overburdened now. As they can handle it, but in the absence of law, they cannot handle the MSME and the proprietorship farm also. Suppose a factory has been established, they cannot run. So India has made a rules that the government of India has framed a rules that only 1,000 companies will be handled by these three sectors, and from that 1,000 companies, the ESG disclosure form is the single front. It is maybe a software company, the steel making company, the coal factory. Everyone will fill the same form. That is the main problem here that I have identified. Sir.
Can you go to your methodology part? Is there any methodology?
Sir, which slide, sir?
Methodology.
Sir, here I have not included it on the slide.
You have not included, but you see, when you are, this is a qualitative research.
Quantitative.
Qualitative research.
Qualitative.
How many papers you have studied? So many papers you might have studied. So how you, what is the mode of studying the papers and how you exactly go to the conclusion part after reading the paper part exactly? What is, because every research is having a methodology part. Plus even for a qualitative study, if you are going for a content analysis even.
Yes, sir.
So how you did that?
Sir, here we have taken the secondary data given by the government of India in 2022-23. After that, only many of the research papers talked about the ESG disclosures to be taken in as per the global standard. They have adopted that India should adopt the global standard. But the gap is that if the entire global research will be adopted, there should be a law to
that is your recommendation. I don't have any problem with that. Top 50 companies you have. So have you downloaded all the top 50 companies basic filing?
No, sir. It is the top 50 the government of India has given. This is the graph.
No. What is that methodology? What is the methodology you have applied in your research paper? You get my point.
Sir,
why out of 100, why you have selected only 30? What is that?
Inclusion, exclusion.
Inclusion and exclusion. Sir, the report is initially was done. The government has asked for the 1,000 companies. The RBI has given 200 companies data. The MC has given 70 companies data. The another one, SEBI and MCA. Another one is Reserve Bank. They have given 65.
So it's okay. That is okay.
I have taken the common 50.
On what basis? Because see, when you are doing any kind of research, it's a qualitative research. So the 100 paper I have to study. What is the criteria I have to frame first, or rules I have to frame first? Based on that, I will go and study those papers. Getting my point?
Sir.
So even it is qualitative research, I am only asking the methodology. What is the methodology you have applied?
I will include it.
No. If it is not, then it is random. Whatever comes to your mind, you read and you had your observation and you had your presentation.
Sir,
because if it is research paper, I don't find it's a research paper.
It is a policy paper, sir.
That's right.
It is a policy paper.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have one question. This is topic is very important. To be specific, I'm not very familiar with who is whose responsibility is what. You are asking that law, we need law. But before law, we need the data. Data analysis leads to law. I'll give you an example. Have you seen Haldiram Chanachu?
Yes, sir.
Try to read the contents. And in the contents, when I was buying, I'm not from this place, okay? And it is a very common practice to read what are the contents. It is said refined oil. I was very happy to buy it. Then I had a chit chat with Haldiram owner. Oh, why this is 50% off and why the other one is full price? He chuckled at me. Said, refined oil, did you see that? That means palm oil. Who will control that? Do you think that corporate disclosure will bring it up?
No.
I don't think so.
No, sir.
Data analysis is needed. It's cheating. People on the street, they are uneducated. Make sense? What I'm disclosing, I'm sure in this room, not many people have that idea. Palm oil is very dangerous, saturated fat. Once it goes in, you cannot take it out, even with Lipitor. Okay? Another example I'm giving. Have you seen?
May wish to ask him the question related to this instead of giving.
There is a question here.
Yeah, please.
There is a question here.
Yeah.
Another example I'm giving, like non-stick pan, there is a PFAS. Outside in developed countries, it is completely banned. Now they're bringing ceramic non-stick. And those machines are being imported to India to produce that. Now, according to your paper, who will be overseeing that?
Sir,
Who will be controlling that for the benefit of society?
So for that, currently I'm drafting a bill. It is under the process. After that, it will be submitted to the TRS India, which is the legislative research of the parliament. The bill will be submitted that the particular department, or just like the National Green Tribunal we have to control the environmental degradations, there will be another tribunal who will be looking after all these things. So, particularly the environmental law is already there, but it is not being controlled, or it is not controlling these things. So, the particular bill, after coming into an act, it will create a tribunal who will be supervising everything under it.
Okay, so considering the
Like the
climate
national
change, we have to.
I'll ask one question.
Sir.
Regarding governance, I speak about Reserve Bank of India. They have advised banks for disclosure norms, and banks declare as per Basel III. It is as per international standard.
Yes.
You can tell what more banks can do.
Sir, until and unless a law is being done, no banks can be forced to do something.
The law is there already. Basel III is already implemented in all the banks. So, and that is the international standard.
Yes,
So
sir.
what more law can be enacted?
Sir, we are adopting the international standards, sir, correctly. And now, if there will be no law and if there is no mandatory disclosure on the Basel III, there is no person who will be regulating that one. Suppose a person is not disclosing, what action it will be taken against him?
It cannot be done. So, balance sheet.
Sir, that fixes the accountability, sir.
How they have implemented, it is already clearly there.
Sir.
So somebody violating will attract Reserve Bank penalty. So I do not consider that a law is inconsistent with regulation.
Sir.
Or the practice.
Let us leave it over discussion we can have during the lunch session. Okay, so just last observation that you need to work on methodology front, because whenever we are doing research, you can give a recommendation based on your literature review or opinion, but don't conclude anything unless you have done the rigorous research, right? So thank you.
Yeah. So coming to this, like you are talking about BRS report and all that, and you're saying that there is nothing that mandates ESG in India. And you're talking about standards, that we follow the standards, international standards. And you also talked about how foreign companies are doing. So let me first tell you this thing. One is about the ESG. So when you actually dissect it, it's environmental, social and governance. So for the social part, there is this CSR Act, which already gives in detail what the companies need to do. For governance, like I think the professor was saying that there is this Basel III norms for the banks, and there is this clause 49, which details the corporate governance norms for the companies in India. Okay. Now coming to the environment part, there are like several, environmental laws are already existing, right? So you may not have a law which will just kind of mandate ESG, but then for each component, there are already established laws. First, just listen. Second thing, you talked about the foreign companies. Nowhere in the world there is a law about it. Everywhere there is a standard. And standards are always voluntary. You have shown somewhere GRI, I think, right? So GRI is also a standard which is voluntary. It's not compulsory, it's not mandatory. It's only in India that we have mandated the CSR Act, the Governance Act, the Corporate Governance Act, okay? And also there are laws regarding the environment, right? So I think you need to relook at your, whatever you are trying to, present here. But yeah, I think, answering Sandeep, the 50 companies, he has just taken it, the government, from the government, yeah, that's all. So he has not done any selection.
We have also, I have also paper which is also most cited paper in ESG. We call ESG companies. There are also some companies called ESG companies.
Yeah. So yes, so that is what. So you have just taken some secondary data from somewhere, and that's a government given data. So you have yourself not done any research. That is what.
Yes, sir. That's secondary data.
Yeah. So probably you need to look at what exactly you want to study, what should be the research program, and what analysis you should. Okay.
Very good.
Up next, I would like to call Ms. Samadrita Ghosh and Professor Abhijit Sinha from Vidyasagar University, and will be presenting on driving sustainable higher education, a study in West Bengal.
So let us ensure that to complete the session by 1:30, we should not give more than 15 minutes to any other presenter, including discussion and presentation. So whenever we are asking the question, we can take one question at a moment, and that should be the direct question rather than having some discussion. Discussion we can add to the last one. Yes. Pardon.
A very good afternoon to the respected chairpersons, organizing committee, and my fellow representatives present here. Myself, Samadrita Ghosh. I'm a research scholar of Vidyasagar University, Department of Commerce, and this paper has been co-authored by my supervisor, Professor Dr. Abhijit Sinha, Professor, Department of Commerce, Vidyasagar University. And the title of my paper is Driving Sustainable Higher Education, a study in West Bengal. Now, when we talk about sustainability, we often keep our focus on different buildings, type of buildings, technologies and policies. But the main and the crucial resource is human capital. Now, my study is based on the human capital and specifically focusing on the teachers. Teachers are often considered to be the backbone of any organized or institutions. And
as the teachers not only are responsible for preparing the lessons, doing the research and the academic results, but also are responsible for institutional resilience and overall economic growth. Now, this study is focused on the educators, that is the teachers of different higher education institutions, and we have studied the interaction of satisfaction, engagement, and performance, and the evidences has been taken from West Bengal, India. As per the study objective, the first objective is to highlight what are the key factors that are responsible for teacher satisfaction. The second is to assess the association between satisfaction and performance. The third is to measure the association of teachers' engagement and this acts as a mediator between satisfaction and performance. And last, to compare the results by multi-group analysis using gender, marital status and type of institution. Based on the before said objectives, the following hypothesis has been formulated. Coming to the methodology part, this is based on primary data, and the data has been focused on the teachers, as I have said. Total 400 respondents' data has been considered for this study, out of which 200 is from private and 200 is from government and government-aided institutions. This data has been collected using a structured questionnaire, and this questionnaire was divided into two parts. The first part was having the demographic details, and the next part had the Likert scale item, and it was based on 5-point Likert scale. The data has been collected from a total 6 districts of West Bengal, and it has been taken randomly. 40 higher education institution has been selected out of the 6 districts, and from those 40 higher education institutions, 400 valid responses were collected, and the total respondent which I received was more than 500, actually more than 550. But after eliminating the responses which were incomplete and were inconsistent, I have taken the 400 data. These are the variables which I have considered for the study. As you can see that the dependent variable are two, satisfaction and performance. These are the independent variables that I have considered for my study. Also, the sources from where I have taken, this is based on literature, and the sources has been cited here. Also, as for the mediating variable, I have taken engagement, as I have already said before. And as for the moderating variable, for the multi-group analysis, gender, marital status, and type of institution has been taken. The respondent's profile, that is the total 400, out of which the division has been done. This is the respondent profile of the 400 respondents. Now, before beginning the analysis, I have done the reliability and validity testing. Here we can clearly see that it has passed the reliability and validity testing for all the tests. Also, as this is based on primary data, I have also checked the common method bias, but in this PPT I have not included that. It has also cleared both inner and outer model VIF. It has also been validated over there. Going to the hypothesis testing. Now this is based on the entire 400 data. Here we can clearly see that reward and recognition. Reward, that is a monetary reward, is having insignificant result. So we can see that other variables, that is CBV, that is citizenship behavior, environment, and workplace spirituality, these three are having a highly significant result at 1% level. So we can clearly see that nowadays monetary rewards are not the only thing that is being considered for satisfaction. Rather, there are other things, those are getting more importance. And this is where I am addressing my first set of hypotheses, addressing the first objective. Now going over to the second objective, that is relation between satisfaction and performance. In the last part, you can see that satisfaction and performance is also highly significant. And next, the third is the engagement part, means whether engagement is acting as a mediating role or having a mediating role or not. Now, in the green part, you can see that satisfaction to engagement is highly significant. Engagement to performance is again highly significant. So we can clearly see that there is a mediating role of engagement in this relationship. Now, as we have found that yes, there is a mediating relationship, now to assess what is the degree of mediation, the variance accounted for has been computed, and here I found that the percentage is 36.80, which is coming in between 20 to 80%. That is, we can I conclude that it is having a partial mediation. Now, with this, I'm moving over to the last objective part, addressing the last set of hypotheses, that is the multi-group analysis. Now, for this, I have computed both the bootstrapping NGA and permutation NGA, and the result has been compared. The first is gender-wise difference. So here, female and male, most of the results are having same kind of outcomes. However, for work-life balance, there is a difference. For the females, work-life balance is significant, but for male, it is not significant. For the marital status, married versus unmarried, environment is having significant result for married people, but for unmarried people, environment is not having significant result. For work-life balance, however, the situation is quite similar. It is again having a difference. That is, for married people, work-life balance is important, but for unmarried people, though it is important, but it is having insignificant result. Now, for the type of institution, here government institution and private institution, the environment is different, and for that reason, reward and recognition. So monetary terms is having insignificant result for government institution, maybe because they are having a fixed pay structure, and for private, it is having significant. Work-life balance here is having insignificant result, but whereas for private, it is having significant result. And workplace spirituality here for government is significant, whereas for private, it is insignificant. Now, going over to the conclusion, this study is addressing how sustainable educators can lead to sustainable higher education. At first, we have seen the relationship between satisfaction and performance, and how the key drivers are having the results, like monetary reward is not having that much of importance, whereas other intrinsic factors, that is spirituality, environment, and work-life balance, all these things are having importance. Work-life balance is coming up to be a very important, vital element. However, it is demographically different. And lastly, engagement. As we have seen that engagement is having a mediating result, acting as a mediating factor. So we can say that here satisfaction is driving the educators to be engaged, and engagement is resulting into higher performance. Now, as for the policy prescriptions, that is to prioritize teachers' well-being by shifting from reward-centric to people-centric policies, to promote flexible workload, ethical leadership, and continuous professional development, and by adopting content-specific strategies. Now, these are my strength and quality and contributions of my research. Based on the study, these are the following limitations, and based on the limitations, these are the future directions. And before concluding, this is just to line that sustainable higher education is not sustained by the systems and policies alone, but by people. So by nurturing satisfied and engaged educators, institution directly advances SDG 4, that is on quality education, and SDG 8 on decent poor, because sustainability begins with human well-being. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we can have only one question. Anyone?
The reward can be recognition also, right? So now suppose I may not be interested in getting money, but I am recognized by the institution that you have done this. So whether that has been considered?
Yes, sir. That's why the name is reward and recognition. Reward and recognition.
Okay. not only from monetary side, from other.
Yes, no, monetary and non-monetary, both.
I think that can be a source of confusion. Then your questions will be double-barreled. Because reward and recognition are different things. Right? Like you said that monetary reward may not be, appreciated by the teachers, but recognition might be. But then how do you differentiate that? When you have taken that as one variable. So how do you distinguish the differentiate, the different impacts these two variables have? So that becomes a double-barreled question, right? And the second observation I have of your this thing is that the research is like in terms of what your analysis you have done. But I think you should have also included a conceptual model in the beginning so that for a understanding about what are the variables and what kind of relationships you are trying to propose.
Ma'am, in my entire work, I have actually included that, and also I have not said one thing that this study is adding another new dimension to social exchange theory. So, social exchange theory is.
That's it. I'm not asking you that. What I'm just saying is that in the beginning, whenever you are presenting, it should have been part of your PPT only.
Okay.
What is your conceptual model for investigation? Right? That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you. Next, I would like to call Mr. Dipankar Jana, Mr. Agnieshwar Mukherjee, and Professor Abhijit Sinha from Vidyasagar University, and he will be presenting on development of CSR funds and will it contribute to Vikashit Bharat?
Good afternoon to all. Myself, Dipankar Jana, research scholar of Vidyasagar University in West Bengal. With me, co-author of the paper, Mr. Agnieshwar Mukherjee, research scholar of Vidyasagar University in West Bengal, and my respected sir, Professor Dr. Abhijit Sinha. Title of our paper: Deployment of CSR Fund. Will does it contribute to Viksit Bharat? From the title, research question is very clear. As corporate social responsibility play a significant role in fostering holistic development in the society. Now that another question arises: what is CSR and how it is connected to Viksit Bharat? To align with the fast-changing business, environment, the activity of business are also transforming time to time or year to year. Now the activity of business not only involve profit maximization or economic activity. They are extend their activity for human or social and economic, human, social and sustainable development. So that is the responsibility of corporate to expense some money or part of profit for the sustainable development. On the other side, Viksit Bharat mission was launched by Government of India to fully developed country by 2047 with focus on economic growth and self-reliance, social inclusion and equality, quality education and healthcare, sustainability development and innovation and technological development. So there is a direct relationship between sustainable CSR expenditure and Viksit Bharat mission. Actually, the scope of the activity or scope of CSR expenditure parity with the aim of or objective of Viksit Bharat. So that is motivated us to conduct this study. Objective of the study, we have formulated 3 objectives. First one, to measure the regional share in total CSR spending by corporate and find the extent of disparity. Second one, to identify the top 6 states that received the highest allocation in CSR during the study period. And last one, to identify the growth trend in the different heads under CSR activity. Research design. This study is fully based on secondary data that are collected from CSR, National CSR portal, which is maintained by Ministry of Corporate Affairs for the period of 2015 to 2024, all state of country. Research method, quantitative research method applied for the longitudinal data analysis. The study used tabular analysis and visual statistical technique to examine sectorized, regionalized, and overall CSR expenditure. Similar regression method used to estimate the growth trend of CSR spending, and finally Gini coefficient employed to measure the disparity of CSR spending in different regions. Research approach. This slide shows the total CSR expenditure classified on the 6 region, and under there is a different state. Further, CSR expenditure classified on the broad category, and there also so that the subcategory of under broad category. Analysis, finding, and discussion. Descriptive statistics. This slide shows the highest mean of education and skill development and lowest mean of CSR expenditure, welfare and vulnerable group, and on the basis of region, highest mean of CSR expenditure, Western region. The next part will be discussed by co-author, Mr. Agnistan.
Good afternoon to the August member of the House. Thank you, Dipankar Jana, for giving such a good insight regarding the introduction. Now we come to this analysis and the finding part of the discussion. Okay. So this percentage spending in different regions we have seen. Over here we see, as Dipankar said previously, that the Western region, we can see that consistent growth rate has been, percentage share is there, that is ranging from 28% to 38% throughout the year. And we have come to the conclusion regarding it that this kind of spending that is taking place in the Western region is because of that greater industrial presence over there, larger corporate headquarters are there, and enhanced economic capacity. The Northeastern region basically has consistently received least allocation ranging from 1.6 to 3.5%. The analysis reveals that CSR expenditure is primarily focused on economically advanced and industrially rich areas, while less developed regions tend to receive significantly less attention. And this is the graphical representation of the same previous one. Okay, now coming to the Gini coefficient part, we can see that the range is basically ranging from is around 0.60, indicating that there is an inconsistency. Unequal distribution of CSR expenditure is taking place throughout this decade from 2015 to 2024. CSR involvement in India is significantly influenced by economic power rather than a collective sense of duty. Now, the highest level of inequality recorded in the year is 2021. Especially notable because we all know that there was a pandemic issue during the 2020 and many business houses were recovering from that. So during that period, we can see that there is a highest disparity, very high inequality can be seen in 2021. Now, this is the CSR allocation to the top 6 states. Maharashtra is basically, receiving a lot of, CSR deployment in this region consistently with this time frame, and it is which is anticipated due to the state's significant corporate presence and its role as a key industrial and financial sector. Karnataka, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, and Andhra Pradesh consistently stand out. Even Delhi, Odisha, Rajasthan made their appearance on this list over the years, yet their presence is spongian when compared to the 4 states. Now, if we come to the growth rate of different CSR heads, we can see that the R-squared value spanning from 0.507 to a peak of 0.903. Now, CSR spending across these categories is robust, trend over time. Education and skill development and rural and community is remarkably robust trend, is showing a robust trend. And health and sanitation and women child care is also showing a robust trend. And then the most notable category is the welfare of the vulnerable group, showing the highest growth of 0.2851. Now, coming to the concluding remark. Now, mandatory CSR under the Companies Act 2013 has significantly increased the CSR spending across sectors and regions. Despite overall growth in the CSR expenditure, regional disparity remains persistent, with already developed regions continuing to attract a disproportionate share. Current CSR allocation patterns limit the role of the CSR as a national instrument for the balanced regional development. Now, this is the policy recommendation part. Now, region-sensitive CSR guidelines to incentivize the investment in the underdeveloped and lagging regions is necessary. Establish CSR equalization or a priority zone aligned with the low HDI, poverty, and environmental vulnerability indicators. Encourage interstate and interregional CSR pooling mechanism for large-scale national impact projects. Strengthen policy nudges and fiscal incentives for the CSR spending on the environmental sustainability and green initiative. Enhance central monitoring and outcome-based evaluation through the National CSR portal, and align CSR allocation more explicitly with the Viksit Bharat 2047 objective to ensure inclusive, sustainable, and equitable growth. That's all. We are eagerly waiting for your valuable insight for this particular, so that we can develop more. Yes.
Can you go back to your first, second, or second slides? Like, see, this is a
this one, sir?
No. Data is not required here.
This one? Okay.
See, this when corporates used to allocate fund for CSR, do you think corporates have been given this kind of a direction that you have to spend fund in all regions? First point. This is the first question. There is nothing, there is no compulsion. You have to spend. And obviously, when it is corporate social responsibility, we have a limitation of spending maybe 10 kilometers, 15 kilometer radius where exactly we have to, what I feel, when we are creating some impact, or maybe it is our responsibility to make it. First question is that, do you think CSR fund is truly for the overall growth of the country? So that I can link it with the overall framework of Viksit Bharat. Try to understand my point. If it is not, then why should I link it? First point. How? Because when somebody will ask this question, that why you are linking Viksit Bharat as a very comprehensive, ambitious project to only CSR? Is CSR has been made for it? My first question. How you are going to justify that? See, CSR is CSR. It already been mentioned, already been given, and how you are going to spend, nobody is going to limit it. So why you are linking it with your project which is ambitious? And I don't want to question whether Viksit Bharat is something there or not. What is the ambition? Where exactly you want to reach? What exactly Viksit is all about? I'm not going to that one. Let it call development. Let it call development. Getting my point? Otherwise, what will happen when you mix these two things, CSR with Viksit Bharat? Everybody will question this. How far they are connected? Whether they are connected or not? Because I can't connect anything to anything. There is a stone near, and I don't want to say that whether the stone is part of Himalaya or not. Might be, who knows? But stone near any place, it has its own presence. It has its own relevance. So, have you thought about it?
Actually, sir, the objective of CSR.
No, my question is that has there anywhere it has been mentioned that you will be spending reason
No,
wise.
that's definitely not mentioned, but
then
for the holistic development of the nation, business houses have to take some responsibility because they are the part of the
that means
society.
your research paper, my suggestion, I'm sorry to, you should stop there. Why it is not been spent across all the regions? There's why you are looking to Viksit Bharat. There is the paper. That is the paper.
Actually, objective of Viksit Bharat and the CSR spending scope, it is the parity, it is the linkage between.
Take it.
Alright,
So I got you got the point. You got the point. You got the point. That's the.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, any other from the. So here, like if you just go further in the slides, where you are indicated flow. Yeah, go further, go further. Here. So, I mean, you have never defined the growth rate. So where from did you get this growth rate?
Growth rate is 14% high.
No.
No, they have defined. It's a linear regression on the train.
Similar.
Y equal
Where
to
have
A
you
plus
defined
dt.
it? You have defined it.
Listen,
You have defined it. Okay. I already missed that. Okay.
similar regression.
Similar regression.
Similar regression used.
Similar regression.
I understand. So, okay,
Thank you.
that's.
Thank you so much.
So, now it's the last presentation of the day. Professor Pandurangi, KLE Technological University, will be presenting on the influence of consumer knowledge gap on sustainable textile preference. Insight from Gen Z consumer behavior. It will be an online session.
Ma'am, are we audible? Are we okay, ma'am?
They have to start the session. After if you can, it takes the mind.
Ma'am, you are not audible. How do you mean, ma'am? Can you rejoin the session and try again?
Do you have a phone number? Or now she is there.
Ma'am, you're not audible.
Hello. Am I audible?
Tell her that she is not audible. She is not audible. Tell her that.
Ma'am, you are not audible.
Ask her to unmute.
Please unmute you. No, ma'am, you are not audible.
ask her to click bottom right. Yes. I think her laptop mic is having issue. She can use the earphone.
As an administrator, can you unmute?
So I think the mic from there, like she's trying to join from another device. And because from our end, like both of these sessions, they are running smoothly the online part. I think the issue is from us.
She can sign out, then rejoin.
So she's trying.
सत्या यहाँ पर हाँ
Sir, am I audible now?
You are audible now. Yes, ma'am, you are audible now.
Sir, I'll just share the screen.
Excuse me, Bhavani ma'am.
Hello, sir. I'm ready with my presentation.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. You can start.
Hey, share.
Yes.
Share and share.
Even if the video is not there, it will work.
Yeah.
Please share your PPT.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do that. I'm doing my just opening it. Am I audible, sir, now?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible. You can.
My PPT is visible?
Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Thank you. So, good afternoon, all the dignitaries and the organizing committee. So, I'm sure, myself, Professor Rajesh from Kerala Technological University, B, Karnataka. So, I will be presenting a paper on the influence of consumer knowledge gaps on sustainable textile preferences, insights from Gen Z consumer behavior. So, along with me, two co-authors are my students who are now studying in final year BBA. I start with the introduction part. So basically, I have studied about the textile industry as well as the sustainable textile industry. So there is a major difference between the textile, the normal textile industry, wherein all these spinning, weaving, and knitting, dyeing, finishing happens with normal textile industry. So when it comes to the sustainable textile industry, the textiles which are all the apparel which people, which the company is pretty with less environmental waste and low energy consumption. So that can be included under sustainable textile industry. And as there is a more increase in consumer demand for environmentally and ethically conscious goods, the sustainable fashion market is now increasing. So it has actually come into the picture late 20th century, and most probably the first company which has adopted the sustainable textile, maybe in terms of reducing the wastage which harms the environment, or maybe in terms of sourcing the goods or the supply chain aspect, sourcing the goods from which the textiles are produced sustainably. And annual growth rate, if I just consider for the sustainable textile, so it is around 9%, and which is actually representing the shift towards slow fashion. And the consumers are giving preference to long-lasting and high-quality clothing over disposable fast fashion. There are some challenges maybe in scaling up the production, because most of the companies are not able to adopt it, or are not able to get it done, because they come up with higher costs, and along with that, most of the people are also not knowledgeable about the sustainable textile. And still, industry continues to grow and innovate, and its role is becoming now, the exploration towards sustainable textiles is becoming more, maybe in terms of technological advancements, or maybe the practices which they want to adopt. Along with industry also looking for the future development. The theoretical framework which I have taken as foundational theories which can be connected to this particular study are three theories which I have taken. First is knowledge, attitude, behavior model, wherein it says that if people have knowledge, they knowledge about something, maybe if I am connecting with sustainable textiles, so if they have knowledge or they gain the knowledge about that, the attitude towards that differs. And attitude motivates them to behave for purchasing those products. And theory of planned behavior, so it is a very basic theory which is propounded by Asian, and it says that consumers with positive attitude towards sustainable textiles are more likely to purchase them. And sometimes social pressures and cultural expectations can influence sustainable purchasing decisions as well. And knowledge gap theory again basically developed by Team Sure and there are three economists, Januarv and Collins in 1970, and that suggests information is not equally acquired by all the people. Like those who are very well versed or those who have developed with their social or mass communication, so they can access the knowledge easily, and those who don't have access to the mass media or maybe the different digital tools, they might not have the knowledge about all these sustainability aspects. So this gap leads to less purchasing of sustainable products. So these three theories have been contributing to the foundational theories as I go to the sustainable textile behavior of the consumer. And I have done some literature review as well. So around 10 research papers we have gone through, and in that majorly the research or the authors talk about the gap between knowledge and the behavior. So if they have knowledge, they tend to purchase them, but although they have knowledge, sometimes they also look at the cost, they also look at the fashion, they also look at the trend. So this is the major literature outcome which I have gone through. And there are some literature which or some papers which talks about greenwashing practices which has been adopted by the companies, which creates actually the skeptical environment among the consumers, so that whether they have to believe the eco labels which they mention, or whether they just say that this is prepared by the sustainable raw materials and all those things they mention, but they won't. Sometimes they won't use it, or sometimes they use it very minimally. So majorly, the literature review emphasizes on literacy and awareness about eco labels, awareness about the sustainability, awareness about the sustainability involved in the textile production. So that influences the consumer purchase behavior. And coming to the objective of our study, so first objective is to assess consumer awareness and understanding of sustainable textile materials, eco labels, and environmental impact of sustainable production, or sorry, the environmental impact of the textile production. And the second objective is to analyze impact of consumer awareness and awareness of sustainable textiles on purchase behavior among Gen Z consumers. And coming to the research methodology part, so this is a mixed method approach wherein consumer knowledge gap is regarding, we have explored consumer knowledge gap regarding sustainable textiles and its impact on preferences of Gen Z consumers. And 100 Gen Z respondents who are from the age group between 18 to 25, we have selected, and through convenience sampling is selected them. And conceptual model was developed to identify factors influencing purchase behavior towards sustainable textiles, and primary data was collected through the survey, and secondary data was gathered from the industry reports and literature review. And conceptual model which we have developed is regarding awareness. We have taken three key factors which leads to purchase behavior of sustainable textiles. So three key factors which leads to purchase behavior of sustainable textiles are awareness about or the knowledge about the sustainable textiles. And the second one is knowledge about eco labels. Eco labels may be in terms of, there are some international standards, international eco labels, which we can say that BOTS, which is Global Organic Textile Standards, and OICOTEX, wherein that is also a global certification for textiles. Under that, some other standards will also come. And environmental concern. Sometimes not only the knowledge gives us or leads us for the purchase behavior, sometimes concern we have towards our environment will also make us purchase those sustainable textiles. So all these three factors may lead to intention of purchasing the sustainable textiles, and that may lead to purchase behavior. And the analysis part, we have come across the descriptive statistics, wherein around 0.44% of awareness, like means we have found out wherein it shows us very low engagement with sustainability related aspects among the respondents. Actually, all mean values are below 0.5, which shows that only very less number of people exhibit awareness, maybe sustainable purchase behavior or understanding the sustainability labels, or sometimes the presence of sustainable options also. So median and mode being zero across all variables confirm that non-adoption is the dominant response. So most of the people, most of the Gen Z consumers which we have collected the responses from, they are dominating, saying that we are not adopting, or we don't. Sometimes they say no awareness and they are not able to purchase the sustainable options, maybe because of some reason, maybe just fast fashion, or maybe the trending clothes which are not sustainably produced. So based on that. And positive skewness for all the variables, particularly high for the understanding sustainability labels, indicate that responses are heavily concentrated at lower levels, reflecting significant knowledge and adoption gap. So people are unaware about sustainable textiles, and that is leading them to adopting to the sustainable textiles. And regression analysis was also done. The Pearson correlation coefficient between the awareness and the purchase behavior. So moderate to strong positive relationship, I can say. So Gen Z respondents who are more aware of sustainable textiles are more likely to purchase it. So very less number of people around among 100 respondents. So we could able to see that whosoever knows about that sustainable textiles are able to purchase them, and who don't know, who are unaware about it, they are not able to adopt to the textiles, sustainable textiles especially. And about 33.4% of variance in purchase behavior can be explained by awareness, and awareness plays an important role in influencing the buying decisions. And adjusted R square, that is slightly lower than R square which we have calculated, and since it is close to R square, the model does not suffer from overfitting, and it is fairly reliable, I can say. And the model which regression model is stable and generalizable. And ANOVA table shows us that regression model is statistically significant, and consumer awareness has a significant effect on purchase behavior of sustainable textiles. And in conclusion, this research highlights that potential of sustainable textile market driven by growing environmental awareness and ethical consideration. And barriers. There are barriers such as high cost. Some Gen Z consumers have also said, due to high cost, due to limited availability, due to lack of awareness also. So they majorly lack of awareness. Lack of awareness is making them understand about the sustainable textiles and adopting to that particular textile options. And by companies can make use of this, maybe affordability, quality, innovative designs, and maybe ethical sourcing. The companies may, our brands may change their production levels to reduce the environmental options. And limitations could be we have taken only very limited respondents, and we could do the study with those limited respondents. And the scope can be the geographical area can be maximized and extended, and the study could be conducted with more people so that we can understand more insight from Gen Z countries. So this is it from my end. Thank you, one and all.
So you can have one question, please. Anyone?
Thank you. With this, we have come to the end of our first technical session. We request Professor Rajesh Kumar Singh to kindly give us some valuable insights about this session. So please.
Can I skip Shamir?
Sure, sir.
Okay, I won't take much time. All the papers were really good. But what I could observe that most of you have a good idea, but how to structure the paper, how to present the thing that was lacking, that how to select the construct, how to select the sample size, what should be dependent variable, what should be independent variable. That was the most lacking part. And normally this is the problem with all of Indians over here, that while writing a paper, we are not able to structure it properly. So of course, this is a conference paper, and we are learning over here in the conference only. And based on the inputs coming from other researchers, we should always improve it, and always we should target to publish it in a journal, because conference paper, of course, it's a good platform to learn, but academically does not contribute much in your profile or biodata. So all of us, those who presented the paper, should try to convert it into article which could be published in a good journal. Thank you, everyone, and I enjoyed a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to request Professor Supriti Mishra ma'am to give some valuable insights about this session.
Obviously, all insights valuable or not, I don't know, but I have given some insights. But yes, like I think I concur with Professor Rajesh Singh, and then yes, a very important factor for any research is the conceptual model that actually clarifies a lot of things. In fact, in terms of the researcher's understanding of the problem, and also to whoever you are presenting, that gives a lot of clarity, and methods are very important. So yeah, through the right application of the methods is also something that should be looked at. And also another thing is that the recommendations and conclusions should flow from your research and not from someone else, right? Because the your research, whatever you have found out, from there the recommendations should come. So that's all I have to say. But yeah, I think at least a good effort, and some of the papers are really good. So yeah, so thank you all for this participation in full, right? Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we would like to acknowledge the paper and presentation that stood out from the quality, clarity, and overall contribution to this session. We are pleased to recognize Ms. Samadrita Ghosh for the best paper and presentation of the session, and we kindly request them to come to the dais to receive the recognition.
Sorry. Yeah. Congratulations.
Now, I request Chandramouli Shah to kindly present Professor Rajesh Kumar Singh and Professor Supriti Mishra with a token of respect and gratitude for finding time between this busy schedule. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for your presence.
We can now, everyone can proceed to the. Thank you, everyone.